the movies if you can't make love at home. There's no little brother there who always squeals. You can say an awful lot in 7 reels. Take your lesson.
I present here 3 of the most popular portable phonographs ever manufactured. And I don't mean popular with the general public, I mean popular with collectors because of their appearance. For these are perhaps the only models ever made with finished wooden cabinets that weren't covered in leather or fake leather, and as such they have a very nice presentable appearance. I'm of course talking about the Victor Victrola 50 or VV-50, first introduced in July of 1921 and made until about 1925. Now there's technically 4 versions of this machine, but in reality there's really 3, as the first 2 versions are basically the same machine, and then the second, or I should say the third and then final, are distinctly different. So let's go over this, shall we? So introduced in July of 1921 is the original version. And we need to pause for a moment so a clock can tell us what time it is. Anyway, introduced in July 1921, is the original version of the VV-50. This example is one of the first 1,000 VV-50s made. It has some of the features that are very distinctive of the earlier VV-50s, such as the cast aluminum horn with the mouth that is raised above the surface of the motor board, and the winding handle at the front. Very nice machine, nickel-plated hardware, and standard with a Victrola No. 2 reproducer. These machines were a big hit, and these were a reaction on the part of the Victor Company to other manufacturers introducing portable machines. The VV-50s were available in oak or mahogany. This particular example is in mahogany, and it's a very nice looking machine. A year after this machine was introduced, the Type A version was introduced, which is basically the same as this machine but with a slightly revised lid support. Other than that, there were no changes, and as such it's really a very minimal change to really consider these two to be separate designs. In October of 1922, the Type B version was introduced, and that's the one sitting here in the middle. The gearing on the winding key was revised a little bit, and as you can see, the winding key on this B model is closer to the center than it is on this early version. This machine's not quite as cherry as the two sitting on either side of it. As you can see, there's some empty screw holes there. When I got this machine, it had a non-Victor escutcheon on there for the crank hole, and I found a VV-50 parts machine and was able to get the correct escutcheon there. That escutcheon is very important, by the way, because it has a bearing in it, and it serves as sort of an outboard bearing for the winding handle, or winding key, as Victor liked to call the crank. As you can see, the horn at the back is no longer all metal. It's a combination of wood and metal. It still has the overhang support bracket, just like the early version has, as you can see here. But as you can see, the horn now ends even with the back edge of the motor board, and then instead of there being an upturned metal portion, it's just the wooden back of the cabinet, and there is a quarter round piece of wood back there to help reflect the sound up onto the open lid. And all VV-50s use the open lid as part of the acoustical system. As you can see, the way it's shaped, it helps reflect the sound outwards. Finally, late in November of 1923, the Model C version was introduced. And the Model C version introduced a couple of refinements to the design. One of the most important of which is the way the turntable is installed. There is a circlip which holds the turntable on the Model C version, whereas all the versions before use a screw, which also serves as the center post to hold the turntable on, as these earlier versions do attest. The length of the turntable post has also been increased, as you can see, and this, in combination with a metal spring clamp on the lid, allows up to 6 records to be stacked on the turntable and transported inside the machine. A very nice convenience feature, seeing as how this was totally overlooked on the other two machines. The horn is the same as the Model B, but with the Model C version, the horn is, the tone arm is now a self-supporting style with a nickeled collar at the bottom for adjusting the play and the ball bearings. And there is also a built-in needle holder with 2 bins so that you can choose 2 different volumes of needles. Since it was assumed, of course, that this machine would be used outdoors or at other similar locations, there is no provision for disposing of used needles. You could just, toss them out on the ground, I guess. Biggest difference mechanically too is the motor has been modified so that the winding crank is now on the side of the machine, as you can see here, and not on the front. The design of the latches has also been revised slightly on the Model C machine. And then this is the way the VV-50 would have continued to be made until the end of production. So there you have it, one very popular machine in 3 different flavors. Very popular machine with collectors, very, very nice machine to have. They made a stand for these machines to turn it into sort of a floor model, if you will, where you could use it as a regular phonograph and not as just a portable. But I think most of the people that bought these would have bought it for use as a portable. If you want to see these machines in operation, if you look in the description below, you'll see a link to 6 videos. Each machine plays both sides of a record, and it gives you a chance to see what these look like in operation. So this is a very nice assortment of machines in the general arrangement that they are supposed to be in, with the correct reproducers and everything. So the one in the middle is, I kind of consider it a beater machine. The veneer on the bottom has got some damage, so it's a machine that I'm not afraid to take out somewhere and play. The other 2 machines obviously get much more delicate treatment. They're in very nice condition, especially the one on the right, the Model C. The one on the left, the original version, is in very nice condition though too. And it's fun to be able to take these out and demonstrate them. When the weather is nice in the spring, I'll maybe take the Model B out and do some videos with it in the outdoors. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at a very popular portable phonograph. This has been Oklahoma Bridges, and thank you for watching.